Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you please on your camera, Alan?
Is my camera not on?
Sorry.
It should be. I can't see my screen, so it
There
should
is
be on.
a button next to the mic. You can on your camera, please.
Turn. Oh, is that one the red button? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi.
hello there.
Yeah. How are you, Alan?
To be quite honest, I'm melting in the heat. I'm not used to this sort of temperature here in the UK.
Yes. And welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Alan. And before starting your session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Alan. Yeah. Allan is on a mission to empower students to become high achievers by unlocking their inner genius and reaching their full potential. With a background as an army technician, electromechanical engineer, and a business coach, his life journey from troubled youth and homelessness to author, speaker, and mindset master coach inspires others. Despite losing his eyesight, Allan rebuilt his life and now dedicates himself to mentoring the next generation. He is a passionate charity supporter aiming to raise euro 1 million for causes he volunteers with. Allan's work and message are captured in his books, including Wake Up, Don't Let the World Pass You By, and his tagline, Championing Youth for a Better Tomorrow. That was a really inspiring bio, Allan, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to be very short today. I'm literally just melting in the heat here in the temperatures not normal for Great Britain. In the first 10 years of my career, I worked mainly or totally in a male environment. While away overseas with the army, I bought a bungalow, and returning to England, I discovered it was in a little village 26 miles from the nearest decent town, and there were no engineering jobs. I needed a temporary work while looking for full-time engineering vacancy. The only job in the village was a taxi driver. So I applied and I was called for an interview. Now I prepared by noting things like, I've driven motorcycles for thousands of miles. I've spent years in Germany driving all across Europe, driven in dozen different countries with no accidents, and even taught car driving while in Germany. However, the only question I was asked was I prepared to work for a woman? It was the first time I ever came across any form of discrimination. That was 53 years ago. Well, I took the temporary job and then eventually moved to the main town so I could continue engineering for another 15 or 16 years before I switched to sales. But even sales was a male environment until eventually I ran my own sales retail unit and employed women assistants. But that was 40 years ago. A couple of weeks ago, I Googled the statistics for America and I compared them to those I'd received 40 years ago. About 20% of businesses fail in the first year. Around 35% fail by the end of the second year. And almost 50% have failed by the end of the fifth year. And 65% fail in their first 10 years. Now, that's all sorts of reasons: lack of preparation, no market research, no business plans, many more other reasons. However, I also noticed that over 14 million women-owned businesses in America, representing nearly 40% of all businesses, and they generate $2.7 trillion in revenue, and they employ over 12 million workers. Nearly double the growth rate compared to male-owned businesses, which means you're catching up. But there are millions more women capable of running their own businesses. So my question is, what's holding you back? Is it limiting beliefs? Do you say, am I the right person? Are you hiding behind a story? Imposter syndrome. You don't feel good enough. Well, there's an old saying, the past doesn't define your future. So let me tell you a little about myself. With the encouragement of my parents, I learnt early and had a great start to life, an advantage over the other children. However, there was no encouragement at school. The school used punishment. If you got your answer wrong, you got punished. And this wasn't the way I'd been brought up. I became afraid of school, and I found it very difficult to learn. Slowly, I lost that early advantage. I continued being punished, and I dropped below everybody else, and I was left behind. One day, waiting to be punished, the teacher said I was too stupid to learn, and she walked away without punishing me. Well, I'm a pretty quick learner, and I found that a great lesson. If I was too stupid to learn, I didn't get punished. So I remained stupid deliberately. I fell behind more and more, and I left school on my 15th birthday with the education of a 10-year-old. I went on to further education, but to me, it was just another school. I remained stupid, and I dropped out of further education at 16, with no prospects of a decent job or achieving anything in my life. Despite no education and told I was too stupid to learn, after a major mindset shift, I came top of all my technical training week after week, month after month, and year after year, including top student in the Army, which led to a highly successful technical engineering and sales career. Unfortunately, I was deliberately crippled financially. I was put hundreds of thousands of pounds in debt. I lost my house. I lost my family. I lost my dogs and all my possessions. I was homeless, living on the streets, deep in debt, at an age where most people are retiring. I had to restart from scratch. And over a 5-year period, I cleared my debt on average at twice as fast as the national average wage. I had cleared my debt. However, a month later, in a space of less than 20 minutes, I went from driving my car to complete blindness, and my coaching practice ground to a halt. But setbacks are only stepping stones to the future. I started public speaking to raise money for charity. I became a town councillor, a trustee for Age UK, a trustee for a community centre, introduced public speaking to the local high school. I joined Probus and worked my way up to chairman. but I still wanted a challenge. When you can't see to read or write, what better challenge than writing a book? I published a personal development book and 2 novels. I co-authored 3 other books, and I've got 4 books almost ready to publish this year. I have been teaching, training, mentoring, and coaching mindset alongside my engineering career since my own mindset shift at 16. That mindset shift has been driving me forward for the last 64 years. For those of you who have added the 16 and 64 together, it should come to 80. And by sheer coincidence, today is my 80th birthday. I have set myself a goal of raising £1 million for charity. For the charities where I volunteer. And I transform students into high achievers so they can release that inner genius and reach their dreams and goals in life. Now, many of you either teach or have been taught SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. But I say, create huge, exciting, and inspirational goals. Massive goals, so big you can't achieve them until you grow into the person who can. Ask, who do you want to be? Then set the goals based on the person you're going to become. Thank you. I need to stop now. I am overheating.
Yes, Ellen, are you okay?
I finished. I had to cut it short because I am overheating.
Yeah, we completely understand. No worries. And you have a really inspiring journey and you faced several situations, but now you are here. And yes, thank you so much for your valuable time, Ellen. And we have a few questions from our audience, but we will post it to your email. You can answer there.
I'm struggling to hear you, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay, no issues, Ellen. We have a few questions from our audience. We will post it to your email.
My email?
Yeah.
Okay, it is Allan, A-L-L-A-N,
Yeah.
L,
Yeah.
Roberts,
Okay.
at hotmail.com.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We will post it to your questions there. Thank you so much for your valuable time and take care of your health. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.